Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing good. So the markets again, we're back at it. Markets again just opened, so obviously spreads a bit wider. What we'll do is we'll just wait for the spreads to tighten. I've got a couple of lookouts here. Obviously, we've noticed that we've been trading KJPY, and it's not been playing out for us so well. So looking at previous history, if I just quickly pop to KJPY, we can see, all our previous Asian sessions have been really quiet. So I think, in the past, KJPY did really good for me on Asian session. Now, obviously, it's not doing so great. So obviously, we need to adapt to that, and we need to try and find another pair. So obviously, I'm going to go back to AUD USD, a nice major currency pair. If we look at history, it's obviously Asian doesn't give us that much movement, but this one gives us more movement than all the other ones. So hopefully we can get some good moves. What I've got charted out here, I actually had a pretty interesting bias on this. We've got a bit of a wide consolidation zone, and I can see there's a big potential move to the upside. So what I'm looking for is we're looking for a break. Well, we already have this break, but now we're looking for a retest of this resistance. So we kind of had this resistance being broken, and now we're starting to see, as the market opens, we're starting to see a push further lower. So ideally, if we can get a retest, and we can go above here, we can look for moves to go further higher. Now, looking at all the history for the Asian sessions, obviously we don't have a lot of volume in them, right? So we need to try and see if we can find a way to make our trades worth it. Now, looking at the longer term time frames, we can see that the market actually does move a bit bigger. So we could look at taking our trades and holding them a bit longer than usual, giving it a bit more room. Obviously, this does mean decreasing our stop loss size, increasing our stop loss size and decreasing our lot size, which still gives us a decent risk reward ratio. We still don't want to risk more than that 1%. So I'll be looking at that. So obviously today we can see there's a nice clean move, a potential to the upside, and I can perhaps look at taking a move up here. So if we do see a push up, we could look to see the market go further higher. So let's see if we can get anything. Hopefully, and also guys, so I am busy working on courses. If people are keen on jumping in, I'll be doing mentorship intake pretty soon. So if you guys want to keep out on it, my website is denbergtrading.com. So if you guys want to have a look here, I will eventually start taking in some students. Obviously, if you guys are just keen on watching the lives, feel free to do so. Nothing wrong with that. It is obviously free education, but keep an eye on the site. I'm going to look to launch some stuff here pretty soon. But for the time being, we'll stick to the lives, and I'll keep doing the lives even after I do the intakes, because I just enjoy doing them, and I think it's a pretty good way to keep myself accountable for my own trading as well. Let's have a look. Hopefully, the days I took the trades where we didn't go so well was nice and sunny, so today's nice and rainy. So the change of weather will give us some change in positions, change in luck. But we'll keep an eye on. So we can see here on the small term time frame, our 15-minute time frame, we can see small little consolidations. Obviously, breaks to the upside would be extremely favorable. However, if we do come back to the downside, we could potentially look at taking trades back into the zone. But for shorter term trades, it's not really ideal because we have a lot of support resistance coming up inside this area. So ideally, we want to see a nice push to the upside into this clean zone for anything like that. So I'll flick through a couple other pairs as well. I'll stick to the Asian pairs. So we can see AUD, JPY. It's not actually looking that great either. We've got a potential move to the upside, but if we do break that high, obviously we can see there's not much traffic to the left. There you can see nice clean candles back to that top. Obviously, we've got a bit of consolidation back here on February, the 22nd of Feb, or 21st, 21st of Feb, and then we can see cleaner traffic. So nice big move to the upside if we can break that high. But at the time being, it looks like it's really struggling. So not really looking at anything. I'll keep an eye on it, just out of curiosity wise. But AUD USD is the one I'm looking for today. Moving on to CAD JPY. Similar sort of structure, nice consolidation, push to the upside. So we've got a couple of options, but CAD JPY, like I mentioned, we've been trying to trade this one. It's not been working out so well. Now we can see this was our last Asian session. We didn't really even have any much movement in it. Kind of went up, hit this resistance zone. I was really hoping for a push to the upside, or even at least to push that resistance we had over there. And then it just kind of came straight back down and started to consolidate. Wasted a lot of time, and I believe during UK session it pushed up to that resistance, but it's really just been stuck in here, and we don't really see any nice movement from it. So if we look on our hourly time frame, you can see it does every now and then give a push, but most of the time it's pretty sporadic. It's not really clean. Back, you can see here, this is when I did trade it earlier this year. You can see it does have nice movement in it, and then again some consolidation, but some really nice movement earlier this year in it. So this is kind of why I did enjoy it, but now we can see it's just starting to turn a bit trashy. Consolidation, it's just not really giving us any fluid movement. So up until then, if it does start, sorting itself out, I'll start looking at trading again. But now we need to look for other options, because we just can't be trading a pair that doesn't give us anything. We need to try and put those odds in our favor. Euro JPY. Massive consolidation, hourly time frame. You can see it's just really a big mess. Nothing really favorable. I'm not looking for anything nice in here. These pairs sometimes give you good swing opportunities, but because it moves so messy to the upside in any direction, really, it's a bit of a headache to watch. You can see earlier this year, obviously, markets moved okay, and now as we reached into this March. We can see it's just turning pretty bad. So it's just really bad consolidation. So hopefully next month we'll see something better. So yeah, nothing on Euro JPY. I'll move to GBP JPY. You can see GBP JPY. You can see all my zones I've been drawing here. Same thing, consolidation. Hopefully we can get a push to the upside. Let's have a look on the lower term time frame. It just looks a bit messy, really, even just looking at the higher terms. We can see consolidation. So what we want to break above the zone. Before you see anything. I mean, really, there's nothing. Below, it's a good zone as well. Some support resistance areas coming up. So I really want us to break to the upside. If you want to trade on the really lower term time frames, 5 minutes, you can maybe look, but obviously you can see spreads are now pretty wide. We can potentially look at trading inside these consolidation zones. Obviously, you can take your sells and then push it down, take your buys, but you have to have stop losses, regardless of any trade you take, you need an exit entry and exits plan. So before you take that trade, you need to know where you're going to go if the market goes against you, and where you're going to exit if the market goes for you. Let's have a look at USD JPY. Nice, another Asian pair. 5 minutes. Let's push to the hourly time frame. Let's have a look here. Also a bit messy to the downside, lots of consolidation zones, lots of traffic coming up. So we really want this to push a bit lower, come past this rejection area, and then look for moves either to the downside, ideally to the downside, but to the upside. We can see we do have a bit of inconvenience on its way, a bit of traffic on its way, but obviously this does look like a retracement. So if we do have a look, let's have a I'm just curious. I want to see these. I want to see if I can get a Fibonacci on here. I know there's a guy I used to work with. If you guys want to follow him on Instagram, he's called the Alchemist Trader. He trades a lot with Fibonacci. He's a really great guy. So yeah, Fibonacci is like one of his top things. I used to use Fibonacci as well, but I just kind of moved away from it. It was just a bit, you know, a lot of work for me. Like obviously it works, but I'm just curious here to see. I just got a bit lazy with it, to be honest, and then I kind of moved on to just normal price action. See, I don't even know where it is. Yeah, I've got no idea where it is. Maybe it's here. Fib zones, Fib wedge. There it is. Let's have a look. Okay, so you see, we kind of still do have a potential room to the downside. We can see maybe this will come down a bit more to this 23.6. But you know, in my experience that I found, we usually see markets come down to like 38.2 at the least if it was a nice big move, and if you know, unlikely this one because it's, you know, it's a pretty decent sized move. We could see it coming up to 61.8, but I do think it'll probably just stick to the higher ones. You know, we can see we are approaching support resistance, so maybe we'll get stuck in 36.2. You know, or perhaps I would say, you know, it'd be really pushing it to say it's going to go to 61.8, but I think, you know, 38.2 will be a good area for it to come back down to. So, but anyways, let's get back to the usual. So what we're looking at is, like I said, a break of this support. And then we can potentially see it coming down. Well, hopefully, you know, we can see it start to come down. Let's have a look at gold. Gold was a little bit annoying. I did actually take a trade during the US session, well, just pre-US session, so that's very late for me, so I did wake up a little bit late today. I actually took a buy on gold, but my stop loss was just at 17.14. So the market, you know, I took a buy, and obviously my target was, so this is the kind of setup, this is the setup I took. I took a buy, it was about here, and then I put my stop loss below this previous candle, so that red candle, and then I wanted to put my take profit up here. So it was a pretty nice trade, and then it ended up pulling back, you know, pushing into this. And actually, my stop loss was a little bit lower than that, but yeah, so I was kind of in the zone, and then actually went a little bit into my stop loss and dipped down. And I woke up this morning, I saw it did take me out, which is a little bit frustrating. So that's okay. So next time, you know, I'll just, you know, we'll catch again. But at least, you know, I'm happy because I know, you know, the market moved in technically in my favor. But it's okay. So gold was a little bit of a pain to me this morning. I woke up and, you know, when I checked my positions, then I saw this gold trade was out. But it's okay. It looked really good for me, but sometimes things just happen. So, but yeah, like back to the AUD USD, really, you know, we pretty much just need to wait for that push up. Oh yes, guys. So if you do have a if you use MT4 to trade, obviously most forex traders, you'll be surprised if you don't, you can actually get a free simulator. So I've used this one. It's quite nice. It's a new one. So if you go to just type in FX, you can see FX Blue Trading Simulator. Really cool. So what you do is you're going to go just click on that first one where it says Unique Forex Traded Simulator for MT4. Obviously you do need MT4, it doesn't work on MT5. What you're going to do then is you just click this download. So it's actually pretty cool. You can choose like a time frame, you can set up your own custom charts, choose the time frame, and then you can actually take trades, adjust your stop loss level. So what you can do is you can speed up the time as well. So it like trades, so you can pretty much trade a month within, let's say, 10 minutes, which is really cool. So you can do proper back testing, because a lot of times I find, when we first started trading, when you do back testing and you just kind of use your charts, you scroll back on the chart, it's not as accurate. Back testing isn't that accurate. And obviously if you want to do demo trading, you have to trade for about 6 months to know whether your strategy works or not. So this, you can literally just choose a month. It's pretty good for swing trading. It's a little bit difficult for day trading because you need to, GMT time. So you need to understand what the time means. So MT4 servers or MT5 servers are generally GMT plus 3 or GMT plus 2, depending on daylight savings. So what you do is you just need to make sure that the time is right when you take a trade to make sure it's in the session. But anyways, for swing trading, it's pretty cool because you can look for a setup and then take the trade. And actually when you're done with the session, when it goes all the way green, it kind of loads a page and shows you your end profit, and then you can actually click on the link that takes you to a full breakdown of the trade, how many trades you took, whether sort of everything. So you can even adjust your lot size. So it's pretty cool. So FX Blue, what you do is you just click free download. You don't have to use this. You can just you can click out of this, so you can see it starts downloading. I'll stop it here because I actually already have it. Cancel. So when you click download, it'll give you an option to log in. So you just create an account. It's free. There's nothing. I promise you, there's nothing you need to pay for. So you literally just make an account. You can even choose to not be emailed by them, which is great because a lot of times when you sign up for these things, they always send you stupid emails. But like I said, it shows that it's sponsored by Pepperstone. Pepperstone's a pretty good broker, but I still use Blackpool Market, so you can use it on any MT4. So it doesn't matter who your MT4 broker is, you can just download it on there. They've got good instructions on how to do it. It's fairly simple. So really, really cool software, guys, and it's free as well. Usually pay like $200 for them, but this one's absolutely free. I'll put the link in description as well if you guys do want to get it. So I'll put this in the description now. Because it's free, I think it's pretty handy. So let me chuck this into the description. Okay, so I'll just upload it now. Save changes. And YouTube's actually pretty slow at updating your stuff. So let's have a reload and see if it's there. Okay, cool. Yeah, so updated. So if you guys just refresh the feed or whatever, refresh the video or refresh your browser, you'll see that it's free Forex Simulator, free Forex MT4 Simulator. So that's pretty cool. Really cool stuff, guys. It's awesome, especially if you want to learn, if you're new to trading. It saves you months, pretty much. It really saves you months in back testing. So really cool stuff. Anyways, let's get back to the chart. So nothing much happening. Let's have a look at my spreads. So spreads are getting tighter. It's nice. We can see Aussie USD is actually the spreads get tighter a bit earlier than compared to CAD JPY. So we'll have a look here. Let's have a look at the 30-minute time frame. Again, literally just waiting for that retest and push up. Obviously, you can take a trade, but the issue is you're gonna have to put your stop loss fairly low. and then your risk reward is. So we just want to try and get a really decent risk reward ratio, because if we take a trade now, for me personally, I believe, because look at where this resistance is. You're going to have to put your stop loss pretty far below that. Because if you look at these wicks, you're going to have to put it roughly about here. I would say to be safe, you need to put it down here. And then obviously, your risk reward ratio, it's still pretty decent, 3-1. But if we can get a tighter entry, we can look, depending when it starts to reject, you can see we can get a really, really good risk reward ratio. Obviously, when this, if this goes up, come on. So if it goes up, we'll look to take a trade here. So stop loss will hopefully be roughly below here. So you can see it's a 6-2, not quite 6-2-1. So we got a 5-1 risk reward ratio if we do get a good break. But even now, if you want to take it, guys, it's it's a pretty good entry actually. It's but I'm gonna wait. Personally, I'm gonna wait. Oh, Mr. Boots. All right, let's have a look. See what this is. See that? There's Blackpool Markets. Best broker, good. Where is Onyek? Full margin FX set. Oh man. I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that, to be honest. Yeah. So you see, you guys are in office dark and early today. Nice rainy day. So. Oh yes, how was the boat trip? I saw you guys were on the boat trip. So pretty cool, guys. So Blackpool Markets actually the other day went on a boat trip to go watch the America's Cup race, which was pretty cool. I saw they took out some clients. So if you guys want to see some cool stuff, just have a look. I'm sure they'll probably post something soon on their Instagram or on YouTube somewhere. But pretty cool. So I wonder how did that go? So we're starting to see this push up now. So hopefully if we can get a close above, we can start looking for entries. Like I said, if you want, you can look at taking your earlier entry to push up higher. So this is actually a really good, could be a really good trade to the upside. Yeah, see, so that's kind of why we always want to wait for that close. So went above, did come back down. So, but it's still sticking to just above this other support we have. So I do think we'll probably see a move to the upside pretty soon. The reason I'm not looking to trade right now is because obviously the spread's pretty wide. Market just opened about 30 minutes ago. So hopefully soon, the deeper we get into the session, obviously the tighter the spreads should become as liquidity starts to kick in. Yeah, so currently my spreads are about 3 pips, 2.5 pips. So once it start, it's getting tighter. And obviously, the move you want to take, it's not that it's a pretty big move. So I could be starting to look at taking move entry because we know full margin effects. Oh my days! All right, okay. I'm trying to figure out who that was. Was it Puppy or was that no? It wasn't. No, that's not Kyle. Full margin effects. Oh no, okay, yeah, it is. All right, I know that is. So full margin effects, I believe I actually so I actually spoke told everyone about how you kind of prefer to trade with some good, what do you call it, Fibonacci again. And we saw some pretty good potential Fibonacci levels for, I believe it was, see if I can remember, USD JPY. So if you want to do a USD JPY for you, you can see we do have. Let's get this fibs back up here. I'll put on the hourly time frame. So you can see a bit better. So we are approaching a good fib level. Zoom it out a bit. I have to go on the 4 hourly, 2 hourly, 4 hourly. There we go. So let's get that fib in here. Keep forgetting where it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. If you pull it up, we can see we are approaching that 32.23.6. Potential moves down to 38.2. So that could be some interesting moves coming down. Nice move to the downside. So even this 4 hourly looks pretty good, guys. We saw, like, you can even see like the smaller version. We got that push up, red candle, push past it, and now we're going to get that, hopefully get that retest to push further higher. We can maybe, you should keep in mind, because we need to have a look at this, because now we look at the 4 hourly time frame, we can see that zone's actually getting a bit smaller because of the base of the candles. So, but I think, obviously it's still a really decent size move. For margin, you might test 108 again. 108. Let's have a look. 108. Yeah, I think 108's 108 flat. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it could be. I reckon that could be a good zone. I was saying if we break this low, obviously then we can look to drop down, which will probably be reach on those fib levels. This almost does. Not quite as clean, but it's a bit of a channel really, as well. See if we have a channel. flip channel. I saw a normal channel. Over here. Man, I don't even know where all this stuff is. Barely use these things. Price range. I don't know where it is. I think I'll find it eventually. But so if I just use the annotation on this, change the color too. So we can kind of see like a bit of a, you know, perhaps like a bit of a channel forming here. I think that's about it right there. So we could look to see, you know, potentially still a move come to the downside, which would kind of follow nicely to our, you know, to that sort of analysis that we're doing about the support. So if we do see like a push down to the support, you know, break for the lower to, like we mentioned, that Fib or 108 level that full margin is talking about, you know, we can see it like sort of use this channel to kind of get there, or you know, coming back to the supporter back over here. That's horrible. Support over here. And then we can look to see, you know, look for potential like moves to the upside. But I do like us, you know, I never really like trading, you know, and like against the direction of the channel, because if we've got the channel sort of pushing down, and we see like, you know, starts to form, and we look to take a trade. So obviously we've got our history from the channel back up over here. And we look to take a trade here and take our entry and put our stop loss below. You know, if this market just kind of sits in the channel, it can stop us out. So that's the issue. So I always prefer to trade, you know, with the channel, because now what happens if we take our entry and put our stop loss above that zone, even if the market sticks above that top trend line, you're still going to profit. And the nice thing about this is the longer the market takes to get to the bottom, to the, you know, into this channel again, the more profit we get, obviously, because this drops down further lower. So the longer this takes, the better for us. You know, we can, if it is a slow move, you know, we can get more profit, because if it's just a quick drop, you know, we've got like this compared to all the way down here, which is pretty similar what happened here. So I mean, obviously it's not, we had a pretty quick drop initially in this channel. So you can see it literally, it's like, it's not that much compared to, and now that we take time, because if we kept dropping at this rate, you know, this would have been about our target right over here. But now that we're sort of in this angle, if we keep on at this angle, depending, you know, it doesn't matter how it moves, you know, we can actually, let's try and get a straight line. So you can see like it probably can get all the way. So it's over here, all over here compared to this way. You know, if it drops at a slower rate, it's better. So it's better you wait. Let's cover this Aussie. You know, if you want, I mean, you can treat this as a double top to look to come back into the zone. But But again, if you were looking to trade it could be pretty risky because, like I said, we're above this major consolidation. So we could just be, we could just create like an internal little consolidation over here. So we just need to be a bit careful of that. If we do happen to drop past this, then we can look for moves to come back down. Targets possibly to the downside, this could be a good area to look to come to. So either way, up or down, we've got a pretty decent risk-reward ratio. Gold would have been really nice if it didn't stop me out. So look at the spreads, see if they, yeah, so spreads are pretty much still the same, so not much volume into it yet. Yeah, let's have a look at US30. So US30 also usually moves quite well. US30 is actually a really nice pair to swing trade. So if you're looking at like a 4-hourly time frame, you can see it kind of creates some pretty good breakouts, and it's got really good fib levels as well. But what we had here, we had sort of this double top. So if you did take the sell, it would have been a pretty bad one. But then we had a nice break above, and we had a retest of the double top. So we could potentially have a nice push up, but we need to be aware of the market that can. So usually what happens is, just give us annotation. We have like our double top that comes up, and then we have, you know, a break of that double top, which creates a small little retest like that. And then we usually have a push up. But what a lot of people don't realize is that usually isn't the full potential. So what we'll see is we'll see the market actually make a bigger retracement to retest that area. So a lot of people would kind of panic here, and then, you know, they'll close the trade. But a lot of times this is the actual retest that happens. So what we'll see is we'll see a retest kind of stall around here and then look to push up. So this is usually the trade you want to take. This is more of an intraday. If you want to look for like these wick tests and stuff, it's usually more of an intraday sort of setup, or day trading sort of setup. But we want to see like these, like I said, like these bigger moves retest wise for other entries or entries to the upside. So we kind of see that similar sort of structure here. Just clear all these drawings. We have this nice, you know, sort of resistance up over here. We had a false breakout, and then we had a retest of the wick of that zone. So now you could have taken a trade, and I would have put my take profit like roughly around here. You can see it did hit, but then we had a major pullback, a bigger one, and then we had a retest of that zone. So this is like the, we'll call it the actual retest. And then we had a bigger push down, which you could have potentially, obviously, once we had a push down, this would have been your new take profit target. So really good entry here. So this is the retest. You know, obviously you can see that it made like a little triple top. Just clear all this drawing. So you can see little triple top over there, a little one, and then obviously stop losses above that area. So you could have looked to put your stop loss above that previous top over there, and then look to take your entry as soon as this candle closed. The nice stop, you know, take profit, or you could even taken a, you know, you could have done it before that candle closed for a nice push to the downside. So always look for those bigger retests on the market, because they're usually that's usually the good entry you want to take. Okay, so AUD, JPY, all these Aussie pairs are looking pretty good to go to the upside. I mean, we're all sitting at these resistance levels. So I'll pop it down back to the hourly level, hourly time frame. If you zoom it out, but we can see we're all sitting at these pretty major resistance levels. So this could be like a flat top triangle. If you guys want to look at it, you've got the resistance. This is a bit of a false breakout, which is okay. We see them every now and then. And then we've got our move to the upside, sort of these higher lows. Actually, I'll probably draw this one a bit better. You don't actually have to include that one at all. So you can see we've got like this flat top triangle forming. So usually a flat top triangle's bias is a break to the upside. Thanks, Mr. Full Margin. What we'll see is, usually on the flat top triangle, we see a break to the upside. So in the direction of the flat area. So if we've got a flat top triangle like this, we can always look for the market to kind of, when it starts to push into these zones, we always tend to see a direction in the break of the flat area. So we'll see that break. Now, if this triangle is to the, obviously, arrows to the downside, regardless of the market is sort of in an upwards direction, if we see it sort of come inside this flat bottom triangle, we generally see the market break to the downside. Now, the reason for this, I believe, is because whenever we're inside these sort of patterns, there are support resistance zones. So same way, we always see like support resistance zones like we see here. There's more over here. So it kind of puts a lot of traffic for the market to break into. So even if we do break into this, it's usually quite messy. And obviously to the upside, there's usually no traffic, right? So if we break to the upside, we'll probably see like a retest just once and then push up higher into the clean traffic. But with these to the downside, obviously we've always got these little things that can bother you. I mean, it's not wrong to take the trade to the downside, but do expect it to be quite messy if it does come down, or if it does go back into the direction of the pattern. Civil, new follower. All right, let's keep going. So pretty much now, guys, we can see spreads are getting tighter and tighter. But the only thing we can really do now, we've pretty much broken out all the patterns we look for. I'm not going to go outside of them. I've already got some minors in here, so I'm already minor pairs in here. So I'm not going to go outside of, I'm not going to look at exotic pairs or anything else. We're going to try and stick to mostly the major pairs. So now, obviously, we've already kind of broken it down. So all we can do now is just wait and see sort of how that plays out. So now we'll just run through them again. Gold obviously ran away from me last night. USD, JPY, we've got sort of, like I mentioned, this channel to the downside potential. Original first target is 108.2, 108.223-ish. If we do get a break below that, like Full Margin mentioned, we can see a break to 108, a nice psychological level. And then obviously, if you want to trade on those fibs, you can look for that as well. And then USD CAD, nothing. These are all outside of Asian pairs. So GBP USD, nothing. GBP JPY, consolidation, similar thing. We want to see a break above. It does look like we even have like a bit of a triangle in here as well. It's starting to form just a normal triangle. So if we do get a break, obviously, like I mentioned, break inside these patterns always kind of need to be aware of this. So ideally, if we can get a break above, we do still have some support to come, resistance to come to. but this could give us a pretty cool opportunity. So if we do see a break to the upside, we can look at something that looks kind of like, so if we do see a break, we can see a retest of the zone and then back to a retest of the triangle. And then we can start to see the market pushing further higher. So that's kind of always what's nice about this, is that it gives you that almost bit of confirmation. So that's that could be quite cool. Obviously to the downside, like I said, we've got these areas coming up. And we're also moving into the rest of the chart history as well. So we've got heaps of zones coming up. So it could be a bit messy if we break to the upside. So ideally, to the downside. So ideally we want to break up. And then always we just need to keep in mind of these. We can see round levels acted as resistance now. So 151 of 1514, 1516, obviously 1511. But all these round numbers will offer, support resistance areas. So we just need to keep that in mind. But like I said, there's not much chart traffic to the left on the higher term time frame. So if we look up here to the upside, you can see there's nothing much happening this month at all. So ideally a break to the upside for GJ would be great. This is kind of the boring thing about trading is, all you can do now is just wait. And that's kind of the hard part as well. All you have to do is just sit on your hands and wait, really. And this is why it gets, I think a lot of traders fail at this because, they don't have that patience, and it does get boring. And you start getting, what's called itchy fingers to press the button. And, the biggest thing, the less you trade, really, the better it is. So obviously, the more you trade, the more risk you take. So the higher chances are of taking a loss. So, this is kind of why, I want to start doing these live streams. The more people watch, the more interactive it gets. So it makes it a bit of a funner place for everyone. If anyone who does trade the US session, definitely go check out Wicks Don't Lie. So if you guys do trade the US session, I doubt anyone who's awake right now will trade the US session. If you're from UK anyway, but I guess if you're from the US, then this is middle of the day for you. So or in the evening for you. So definitely go check out Wix Live if you're keen on trading the US session. Yes, I mean, we're still pushing inside this consolidation now. Nothing really major. Let's have a look at our low time frame to see if we can start seeing some rejection. I mean, nothing really, even on 30-minute time frame, nothing. I don't really want to push too low, because obviously the lower your time frames, the worse your entries are. But we can see we're starting to create like a little support resistance zone in here. We can see we're starting to see some rejection, but nothing enough, not closely enough to make me look to take a trade yet. I want to see maybe like a engulfing candle before anything like that, but at this stage, nothing really. So I mean, we're not seeing any like major rejections like these wicks over here, or see this was a nice rejection as well. Even if it was a really bad wick, it's still a nice rejection. But not seeing anything of interest yet, really. Just inside that zone. That's all we're seeing. Nothing yet really, it's just kind of slow. Let's have a look at gold, see any changes. Starting to see some breaks. So we're starting to see the dollar getting a bit weaker. We usually see this during the Asian session. So we could potentially see this USD JPY drop, like we mentioned. USD CAD, nothing. But this AED USD is, nothing major. It's just kind of stuck in this consolidation zone. So if we have a look at a 30-minute time frame, see if there's any, new candle opened about 9 minutes ago. You can see it's started to push up quite slowly into this consolidation zone. So we haven't really gotten any reason to take a trade yet. So I mean, yeah, there's nothing really. So we just kind of need to wait for a breakout. Hopefully, like I said, to the upside. But again, this Asian session is becoming really, really quiet. So let's have a look at Aussie yen, still following that triangle. Yeah. Interesting. So gold opened with a small little gap on this 30 minutes. Let's have a look. This hourly time frame. Yes, I do still think gold. Man, if I was still on the strat, I do think gold will still push up to this resistance up here. So this would have been a pretty decent one if it didn't take me out. So I'll give this one another hour to see if we get anything. If not, I'll probably end it there because it's not really any volume. But I do think so. If I do end this before this does take a move and it does move afterwards, so what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a break above this area, or at least a rejection of this internal support, and then I'll probably start looking for a move to the upside. Now, obviously, target is up here, roughly at the 0.78 mark. Nice round circle, anything near that, because we've got a nice big clean traffic, and obviously stop loss will be just below wherever that rejected it. So that'd be a pretty good entry. So we'll give this a bit more time to see if it does turn out to be, or does give any good movement. Look. Okay, so I've actually got a pretty decent rejection. I'll wait till to see how this candle closes, but it actually does, it's starting to reject. So on my MT4, what I'm seeing here is a bit of a bigger wick down here. So it does actually look like a pretty decent rejection. What I'll wait for is I'll wait for this candle to close and then look for an entry, and then hopefully we can get it push up. So this will be the setup I'm looking for on this. If this candle does end, I'll look for an entry up over here. I've obviously put my stop loss below this wick. Mine's actually a bit lower, so I've got a wick that comes down just about to the tips of these candles over here. So if I look at my hourly time frame, I've got like a bit of a wick that comes down just sort of into the tips of these wicks here on the left. And obviously my target area is up here where these previous candles bases sort of are. So it's a pretty decent, almost 5-to-1 risk reward ratio. So I'll wait for that to see if that plays out. So once this one closes on the 30-minute time frame, I'll, depending on where it closes, I'll take an entry there and see. Obviously this will be a bit of a longer trade, so this can take some time. At this current angle it's going, we're looking at about, I would say at about, what's this? Roughly about 18 hours worth of waiting. So if I do it, I'm taking this trade. Obviously, I'll give an update on it, and I'll also keep it posted on Instagram as well. So like I said, we're looking at sort of this, looking at the current, rate of the market, how it moves. You can see the longer, obviously the more angular it is, the longer this move will take. So hopefully, it doesn't take too long. So I'm looking at about 18 hours worth of trading in this one. So it could be a bit of a swing trade. Obviously, I'll manage it as we go through, as we continue with it. But yeah, I think let's have a wait and see how this candle closes. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's really no movement at all. But I probably will still look at doing this. So we've got 1 minute left for this 30 minute to close. You know, on my MT4, it actually looks pretty good. It's got some decent wick rejection, but it is starting to push down. So I'm not sure about taking a trade just yet. So I do want to see, you know, really nice. I want to see the market like give a convincing move to the upside. So what I mean by a convincing move, I'll put a draw here for you guys. So I want to see like a candle that kind of at least, you know, gives us a decent push up. That kind of shows we want to start indicating to push. Ideally, we want to see a close above this area, and then, you know, hopefully we can look at taking a trade and putting your stop loss obviously with a smaller consolidation, and we can start looking for moves to go further higher, and hopefully, you know, eventually, you know, reach this area of ours. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I mean, this right now is not really that convincing yet. Asian is, like I said, starting to slow down quite a lot. So we do need to we need to start looking for some pairs that move quite well. Like I mentioned, we looked at CAD JPY. We can see there was almost barely any movement in it as well. We're still sort of stuck in this zone. Even during the US session, the Asian session, UK session, this CAD JPY has just been really bad. So I'm going to avoid that one now until we start seeing it turn to a decent trading pair. But again, you know, Asian is a pretty difficult one to trade. So hopefully we can get a movement here soon. Like I said, I will be taking this trade if we do get a convincing close, you know, either above. See, this 30-minute close just isn't really convincing enough for me. Hourly close, you know, if the hourly close is over here, it's not really, I'm not really that keen on it either. So I do want to see a decent push up to close. If we do get a, you know, fairly red close, we might potentially look at taking a move back to the downside. But I am doubtful that it will be a good move to the downside. So hopefully we can get a move to the upside. But again, there's no movement. So I will just end it there, guys. You know, we don't want to sit around waiting for absolutely nothing. We've got a lot of stuff to do today. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, definitely give that a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll stay in touch. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. So no trades today. This week has been very difficult. Hopefully, you know, last week was pretty difficult as well. Well, actually, last week wasn't too bad. But this week has been pretty difficult. So hopefully, you know, we'll get some better moves later on during this month. But until guys, yeah, I'll see you next Asian session. Thanks for watching. And see you then. And trade safe, guys. Cheers.